Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Filbert Flies. I'm Filbert, and this afternoon we are flying Wizzair flight 1602 from here at London Luton to Gdansk Lech Wałęsa airport in northern Poland. Nice to see so many of you here early. Flightzilla, Kevin, hello, and Dazza, nice to see you as well. So we're parked up here at stand 47 at Luton, which is on the new part of the airport, unlike stand 4 where we parked at the end of the last flight, which was on the old original terminal. Anyway, let's get on board and start setting up. So I've got power to the aircrafts, I've aligned the ADDs, and we will start the FS2 crew, Flight Crew A320 pre-flight events.
Let's start setting up, shall we?
As ever, we're using Flight Crew A320 and Pushback Express from FS2 crew, and I'm also flying with pilot to ATC for ATC, as you would expect. Right, I suppose the sensible thing to do now would be to get the ATIS.
Luton Information Uniform 1320 Zulu Windsor 240 at 20 knots. Visibility 6 miles. 3,400 broken. 4,600 overcast. Temperature 12, dew point 7. Current QNH is 1005. Arriving and departing runway 25.
Hello Samsonite, nice to see you.
Information uniform.
So that is, well, it's pretty breezy at Luton. Wind from 240 at 20 knots, so a little bit of a crosswind from the left as we take off from runway 25. But hopefully we won't run into too much trouble with it. I'll press the B key to check the QNH. Oh, and it's bang on. Every update, I allow myself to believe that the live weather has got better. Whether or not that's true, I honestly don't know. One of the slight deficiencies of this Luton scenery is that we cannot have air stairs, so we just have a wide open door, and passengers can, well, jump. Maybe someone will bring a trampoline along at some point to help them get in. Right, so let's go down to the MCDU. We'll start with our init A page, and a lot of this is already programmed in because I pre-planned the flight with SimBrief and imported it directly. So we'll clear the GPS primary message, which you get once the ADs have finished aligning, and we will put in our flight number, Whiskey 6 1602. Cost index is going to be 18 today, and we're cruising at flight level 350. Over to the flight plan page. This should all be set up for us already, so we are expecting a runway 25 departure, and we do expect also the Match 3 Yankee SID, so that's nice, nothing to do there. I have calculated, I should say, the V speeds, and at Luton it's quite normal for aircraft to use the Alpha taxiway intersection when taking off from runway 25, but we're too heavy today, and not only are we too heavy for that, we're also too heavy for any kind of flex takeoff, so we're going to be using full toga power for a bit of a change. Our arrival, let's just have a quick look at that. Ogda 3 Romeo, yes, I am expecting that according to my flight plan. And having looked at the weather, we are most likely, unless anything changes, to be assigned an RNAV approach to runway 11, which is interesting because, as we know, RNAV approaches don't work terribly reliably in this A320 or any of the flight sim aircraft. But we don't have an ILS, so it's that or VOR DME. And we'll see what we're assigned when we're there. The RNAV lateral guidance generally seems alright, but not so much the vertical guidance. But I'm sure it'll be fine. We will wing it. So flight plan page complete. We'll go over to init B. Click this twice to import our zero fuel weight. And we'll check our block fuel up here, which is 9.1 tons. Interesting. This used to be 0. So they are obviously starting to work on filling out this init B page, which is nice. I guess that's probably just a generic figure, but still nicer to see than 0. Can go over to the performance page now, and I will input the V speeds that I calculated earlier, which are 140, 145, And 146. So Luton Airport is on a bit of a hill. I believe our altitude is around about 500. Yes, it is. So we will use 2,000 and 3,500 for our thrust reduction and acceleration altitudes. We're going to be using flaps 1, and we could ignore the flex takeoff temperature field because we're not going to be doing a flex takeoff, as I said earlier. And because we can expect passengers to be boarding soon and it's a little bit chilly today, we may as well start the APU nice and early. No worries, Samsonite. Enjoy Watch Dogs Legion. So master switch on, wait 3 seconds and press the start button. We'll turn our seatbelt sign on and our no smoking sign to auto, which is what the checklists say. But it seems to go off at 10,000 feet if you do that, so I'm just going to turn it to on because, you know, don't want any nonsense in the toilets later on. And then everyone's saying, well, it went off. Right, so I'm going to have a look at the standard instrument departure chart now on Navigraph on my iPad. So we're going to be taking off from runway 25, making a left turn to heading 211. Then we're going to be doing a sharp left after 5 nautical miles to head eastwards, then southeast towards Brookman's Park, and then east towards Match at 5,000 feet. So we'll leave this set to 5,000 feet for now, and we will get our clearance. You can, Jay, there are a couple of add-ons that allow you to do that. There's a payware add-on, which I haven't used. There's a freeware add-on that Kevin and I had a go with the other day. It doesn't yet work in the complex airliners. It only seems to work, I think, in the single-engine piston planes at the moment. It may do turboprops as well, I can't remember. It's called Shared Cockpit, and I can't remember exactly, sorry, the idea, the process of sharing one plane between 2 people is known as Shared Cockpit. I can't remember what the add-on's called. Kevin, if you're still here, do you remember what it's called? If not, when we're in the cruise, I'll look it up for you and try and find a link. It's a bit of a bodge. It sort of works, but you sort of see a second plane doing weird things around you. Right, clearance then. Luton ground, Wizzair 1602, ready to copy IFR clearance. Wizzair 1602, ready to copy IFR clearance.
Wizzair 1602, contact clearance delivery on 121.87. Enjoy.
I normally rely on my co-pilot
delivery on 121.87
to tune the right frequencies. Ah, little Jenny, nice to see you. I'm glad you've made it. Right, Luton clearance, Wizzair 1602, ready to copy IFR clearance. Come on, why aren't you talking to me? Luton clearance, Wizzair 1602, ready to copy IFR clearance. Pilot to ATC is really getting on my nerves these days. It worked so well to start with, and now it's so seldom works properly. Wizzair 1602, ready to copy IFR clearance. No, let's try disconnecting it and reconnecting it, see if that works. Hello Pablo, nice to see you. Just having a spot of bother with pilot to ATC. So I'm just reconnecting. File the flight plan again. Let's try. Luton clearance, Wizzair 61. Maybe I'm using the wrong call sign.
Aircraft calling clearance delivery. Say again with your call sign.
I don't know. Wizzair 1602, ready to copy IFR clearance.
Wizzair 1602 is cleared to Echo Papa Golf Delta, climb via the MATC3Y departure, with the match transition, then as filed. Expect departure runway 25. Climb to flight level 130 via the departure. Expect higher clearances 8 minutes after departure. Squawk 6255.
Wizzair 1602 is cleared to Echo Papa Golf Delta. Climb via the MATC 3Y departure, with the match transition.
Good, Jenny, glad
then
you've got
as
time to
filed.
squeeze this in.
Climb to flight level 130 via the departure. Expect higher clearances 8 minutes after departure. Squawk 6255.
Wizzair 1602 read back correct. QNH is 1005, contact ground on 121.75. When ready for pushback, enjoy your morning.
Thank you.
QNH is 1005, ground on 121.75. Wizzair 1602.
Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into selected speed mode because we have a 220 knot speed restriction for the first 3 waypoints of the SID. So we'll see if... I don't think programming it in the MCDU works at present, so we'll just set it manually. We've got 5,000 feet set, which is the limit of our clearance for the SID. We have to be at 5,000 feet for Brookman's Park. I mean, we could try setting
Hi,
it here,
the
couldn't we?
security and safety checks are all done. Are you good to start
Transition
boarding?
altitude
Yeah,
6,000.
start boarding.
Okay.
Flight plan. Should we try? Should we try just putting 220 in here? Not yet implemented. Okay, fair enough. At least we know where we stand. Brookman's Park, we should be at 5,000, not above 4,850. So we'll just change that. I don't suppose it'll make the blindest bit of difference, but you never know. In fact, we should be at 5,000 at GWE 19 as well. Oops, wrong field, wrong field. 5,000 into the altitude constraint field, and it doesn't want to change it there. Interesting. This simulator is a mystery. One day I might do a stream in the FS Labs A320 so you can see what a working aircraft looks like. But I haven't flown it for so long, I'll probably mess it up. Right, let's fast forward the pre-flight events a little bit, and then we'll do our before start checklist down to the line.
Hi guys, here's the load sheet for you.
Thanks.
No problem, have a safe flight.
Before start checklist.
Cockpit prep.
Welcome on board our flight today.
Completed.
Completed. Gear pins and covers.
Removed.
Signs.
On and auto.
ADS.
Nav.
Fuel quantity.
If you need assistance, contact
Set.
Takeoff data.
If you are unable to accommodate any
Thank you, nice to see you, Zabiraj. Welcome to the stream. How's the weather in Denmark today?
If you're seated at an exit seat, also review the exit seating
Set.
criteria.
Barrow ref.
1005 set.
1005 set. Down to the line.
Good, and we'll carry that checklist on below the line when we're ready to push back. And the door's closed, and the beacon's on. How are we doing for time? I sort of set... Oh, we're a bit pushed for time. I thought I'd set our start time a bit earlier than that. That's alright, we'll just fast forward the events and we'll get underway, I think. Infinite Aviation, nice to see you. Hello to you in Canada.
Hey guys, all packs are on board. Are we clear to close?
Yep.
Thanks, let me know if you need anything.
Now, one thing I have noticed since the update is that sometimes the door doesn't close. Oh, but it has, that's okay. I wasn't sure why that was. It might be me rushing the pre-flight events in Flight Crew A320, or it might be something else, but the main thing is it hasn't happened. So, our door is closed. All doors are closed. We'll turn on the beacon. We'll turn on our APU bleed and disconnect external power. And we'll run the before start checklist below the line.
Below the line.
Windows and doors.
Closed.
Closed. Beacon.
On.
Thrust levers.
Idle.
Are you sure about that?
Yes,
Parking
I checked
brake.
them earlier. But, oh no, I've knocked them. Good. And this is why we do checklists.
On.
Before start checklist complete.
Hello, MBEC1. Welcome to the stream. Nice to see you, as always. Right, before start checklist is complete. We'll turn on our flight director and we'll request pushback and engine start. Luton ground, Wizzair 1602. Request pushback and engine start.
Wizzair 1602 pushback and engine start approved.
Pushback and engine start approved. Wizzair 1602.
It's actually been quite sunny here. A bit of scattered cloud, but not too bad. Had a sort of squall of rain earlier, but yeah, I look out my window and it's very close to this, I must say. What is TCAAS? I have never heard of it. While I wait for an answer, we will start our pushback.
Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead, flight deck.
We are ready for pushback and engine start.
Roger. Release the parking brakes, please.
Parking brakes released.
Pushing back.
Oh, no worries, Tessa. Ah, right. Oh, good, good. I'm glad you're pleased with it. I have what I think is the same stick, but in orange, the T16000, and it's lasted me very well for a number of years. So I'm sure you'll get a good bit of usage out of yours. This is the UK 2000 Luton, Pate Mom. It's not too bad, but it's not the best.
You are cleared behind A. Start your engines at your discretion.
Okay, engine mode selector to start.
Starting engine 1.
Let's see if I measured the distance correctly on Google Maps. I think we'll start our turn here. Except that's not working. Yeah, I've updated Pushback Express and obviously didn't turn on the setting to start your turn early with the ailerons. But never mind. I've got to be honest, Flightzilla. I don't know. I've just seen it done. I don't know if it should always be started first, if it's pilot's choice. But I've definitely seen it done in the Neo. So that's what I'm doing.
Set parking brakes, please.
Parking brakes set.
Roger. Okay, the tow bar is disconnected and the equipment is clear. We will see you on the right with the pin.
Thanks, and you can disconnect and go to hand signals.
Thanks. Have a good flight. See you later.
Is that the fly tamper version? I presume it is, Spiraj. Tell me if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, by the way. And yeah, I've got it, and it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Fly tamper sceneries always are. Right, engine 1 is started. We'll start engine 2.
Starting engine 2.
Get rid of Pushback Express because we're done with that.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
And we'll monitor engine 2 down here while it starts.
Please direct your attention to the cabin.
I have tried Googling it as well, Flightzilla, but I can't find a definitive answer.
That illustrates the safety equipment on board this aircraft. Regulations require.
But yeah, it's the only aircraft I've ever seen engine 1 started first in, so I'm presuming there's a reason for it.
Fasten your seatbelt by inserting the metal tip into the buckle. Tighten by pulling on the belt. To release your seatbelt, lift the metal flap on the buckle. It is our policy that you keep your seatbelt fastened at all times while seated. Doors are clearly marked with exit signs and instructions for door operation.
Just wait for engine 2 to stabilise and then we'll move on. That's it done. So both engines started, APU bleed off, APU master switch off, nose light to taxi.
The cabin is pressurized. If there is a loss of cabin pressure,
engine mode
the panel
select
will
it to
open an
normal,
oxygen mask.
and this being Microsoft Flight Simulator, let's turn all the anti-ice because I can see a few clouds and it's not worth the risk. Right, after start checklist.
After start checklist.
Anti-ice.
Set.
ECAM status.
Checked.
Pitch trim.
26% set.
Rudder trim.
0.
After start checklist complete.
Flight control check.
Full up. Full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral.
Rudder.
Full left. Full right. Neutral.
This is a non-smoking flight. Smoking is not permitted in the cabin or in the lavatory.
Spire. Okay, I will work on that.
Buttons are located over your head. Thank you very much for your attention.
I don't know Copenhagen well, but I went there a couple of years ago for like a long weekend, and I thought it was a lovely city. Right, so the first officer's done his flight control check, so we will ask for taxi clearance. Luton ground, Wizzair 1602, ready to taxi.
1602 taxi to runway 25 via taxiways Delta, Alpha, hold short runway 25.
Taxi to runway 25 via taxiways Delta, Alpha, hold short runway 25 Wizzair 1602.
Okay.
Clear left side.
Clear right side.
Let's get underway.
Brake check.
Pressure 0.
Oh, interesting, Big Mum. I have not updated my A320 today. I did a flight with it day before yesterday, and it seemed alright, so yeah, we'll see how this goes. I have noticed a few more stutters creeping in, and I don't know why that is. Before the update, I was messing around with some config files and trying to turn off my sharpening. And it's a long and boring story, but the upshot of it is I lost all of my settings and everything reverted to low, so I've tried to put them back how they were, but I may have messed something up in the process. Oh, okay, I've never been to Argos. All I know about it is it's where Lego comes from, isn't it? I think. And I know there's often cheap Ryanair flights there.
Before takeoff checklist.
Flight controls.
Checked.
Checked. Flight instruments.
Checked.
Checked. Briefing.
Confirmed.
Flap setting.
Config 1 plus F.
Config 1 plus F. V1, VR, V2, flex temp.
Oh, that's interesting, Flightzilla. Right, we'll test our takeoff config. Should get rid of the blue test thing. We will contact the cabin crew. Gosh, look at all this traffic. Oh, Billund, yes, yes. Sorry, I don't know why I get those mixed up. Don't know quite why that aircraft is parked pointing to the left like that. Do you know, now you've said that, I'm finding my aircraft pulling to the right a little bit as well, so I'm just going to have a go at adjusting that if I can. Very quickly. How do we do it? Sensitivity. Oh yes, these curves are all totally different, aren't they? Yeah, it is slightly to the right. Is it? I guess we can move the neutral slightly. Is that how you do it? No, not really. No. Maybe I have to calibrate it in the Windows settings. Oh well, it's only a tiny bit. We'll leave it for now. See what happens with these planes. See if they go anywhere, or if we have to, I don't know, delete them. Well, I tell you what, while we wait, these planes are just parked across the taxiway. It's like a roadblock. I think we might end up turning live traffic off momentarily. Okay, I will, while we see what happens with them, I will do my set. I'll calibrate my joystick. I don't... Yeah, I have played around with sensitivity settings, and I have to say I find the defaults feel about right to me. Especially since they've updated the flight model, other than it pulling to the left. You're going to see some erratic view changes because I'm calibrating my joystick. That's what's going on here. Yeah, my Z rotation's well out. See if that's any better. Okay, so that aircraft's just disappeared. We'll see if this one also decides to park across the taxiway. Sorry, I've missed quite a few messages. I'm glad you find the stream relaxing. Hello Tom, welcome to the stream. Just having a little bit of joystick trouble, a little bit of AI traffic trouble. Gonna see if this one does anything crazy.
V1 140, VR 145, V2 146,
V1 140, VR 145, V2 146, ATC.
Set.
ECAM memo.
Take off no blue.
Down to the line.
We will set the auto brake to max before we take off, but unfortunately at the moment it just disengages when you press the toe brake, so we'll leave it for now. Yeah, I don't think this traffic is working at all. This is UK 2000 Luton. Sort of quite good in many ways, not so good in other ways. Right, we'll taxi up to the holding point and see if they hand us over to tower. Should do.
Wizzair 1602, contact tower on 126.72. Have a good flight.
Tower on 126.72, Wizzair 1602.
It might be this crazy undulating taxiway that's causing trouble with the traffic. Anyway, Luton Tower, Wizzair 1602, ready for takeoff, runway 25. Luton Tower, Wizzair 1602, ready for takeoff, runway 25.
Wizzair 1602, winds are 250 at 17 knots, cleared for takeoff. Runway 25, squawk 6255.
Cleared for takeoff. Runway 25, squawking 6255, Wizzair 1602.
Okay, so strobe lights on, landing lights on, runway turn-off lights on. And we, as I said earlier, we'll need to backtrack for this because we're quite heavy today. which gives us time to run the before takeoff checklist below the line.
Below the line.
Cabin crew, be seated for takeoff. Takeoff runway.
Confirmed.
Confirmed. Cabin crew.
Advised.
Engine mode selector.
Normal.
Packs.
On.
Before takeoff checklist complete.
Yeah, it's sort of similar to VATSIM or IVAO in that it's fairly realistic, but it does have sort of set phrases, and if you deviate from them, then you can end up running into trouble. I think it could be used as practice for VATSIM and IVAL. I wouldn't probably recommend it for real world practice because it is a little bit removed from, well, certainly my understanding of real world ATC procedures, but you get away with it on VATSIM. So many stutters. I wonder if this is related to the trouble that the chap earlier was having with Luton since the update. See what happens when we're in the air. No, we're using toga power, Dave, because we're quite heavy and it's not the longest of runways. So yeah, that's what the takeoff performance calculator said. Okay, let's do this.
Ready?
Ready.
Take off.
Quite a crosswind.
Mantoga, SRS, runway, auto thrust blue.
Check.
I forgot to call that.
100 knots.
Check.
V1, rotate, positive climb.
I always forget something with Flight Crew A320.
Gear up.
Gear up.
We'll start our turn to the left. Turn on the autopilot.
AP1.
Check.
And because we're at risk of busting our speed restriction, I'm going to reduce the thrust to climb. And I'm expecting it to maintain 220 knots.
Flap 0.
Wilco Wizzair
Speed checked.
1602.
But it isn't.
Wizzair
Flaps
1602,
0.
contact London Control on 118.47. Have a good one.
Center on 118.
Yes, I am using track IR.
Wizzair 1602.
I do enjoy that takeoff, both because of the undulating runway and also because you just come off the edge of a hill essentially.
Climbing to flight level 130.
Wizzair 1602, good morning. Radar contact.
So it's not following this particularly well, is it? But the main thing is we've made our left turn. Slightly early, but better early than not at all. And we are maintaining 220 knots, which is what we should be doing for this particular SID.
Wizzair 1602, descend and maintain 4,000 feet until passing Golf Whiskey Echo 16.
Descent and maintain 4,000 feet Wizzair 1602.
Oh yeah, we should. He's right. He's right. We should be below 4,000 feet. But I didn't study my chart closely enough, did I? I just saw the 5,000 foot restriction. Never mind. Let's do the after takeoff climb checklist.
After takeoff, climb checklist.
Landing gear.
Wizzair 1602,
retracted.
Descent to 4,000 feet until passing
down
Golf
to
Whiskey
the line.
Echo 16.
Expedite descent to 4,000 feet Wizzair 1602.
We're nearly past Golf Whiskey Echo 16 anyway. And once we pass there, we can accelerate to 250 knots, so we'll go back into managed speed mode.
Wizzair 1602 descend and maintain 4,000 feet until passing Golf Whiskey Echo 16.
Descend and maintain 4,000
Yes,
feet
yeah,
Wizzair 1602.
might well be a telephone call. Right, 250 knots. Hello, Lolvane. Oh, interesting, Flightzilla. I'm sorry, I'm going to go back over the messages. Right, so it's just Luton, is it? I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear it's not my settings messed up or a general sim issue. Do I like the motion blur, Eliminix? I haven't had enough experience with it to decide, to be honest. I haven't really flown since... well, I did a very quick flight from Heathrow to Leeds on Friday, but that's been it since the new update. So I have yet to decide. But yeah, that might have something to do with the stuttering, I don't know. But I'm encouraged that Flightzilla is also having issues at Luton, because that would hopefully suggest that's it. So we're still constrained by the 5,000 foot. It should not be climbing. I don't know why it's climbing.
Expedite descent to 5,000 feet until passing Bravo Papa Kilo.
Expedite descent to 5,000 feet Wizzair 1602.
No matter what the constraints are in here, it should not climb above your selected altitude, but it did. Oh, good. That's good to hear. Well, we needn't come back to Luton until they fix it. Toronto, Lolvane? I have no memory of flying to Toronto. No, in fact I can say with some certainty I haven't flown to Toronto. I did a review of Vancouver. Could that be? Is that the one you're watching? Anyway, once we pass Match, which is the next waypoint and the last one on our SID, we can climb to our cleared altitude of flight level 130. Oh yeah, it's much, much smoother now we're in the air. Beautifully smooth. Yeah, I know. I do like... I do like flying into and out of Luton. I'm sure it'll be patched. Nice bit of wind turbine action down there. It's probably Sawbridgeworth where we saw that wind turbine. We're just about to pass to the north of Chelmsford. This is the A320 Neo with the A320NX mod. Oh, that is nice, Dave. How are you finding Rex 2020? I haven't had a go on it myself. Right, so passing that waypoint, we will climb to flight level 130. And because that is a flight level rather than altitude, we can now set our altimeters to standard.
Set standard.
Standard, cross-checked, passing flight level 054.
I haven't tried Bristol since the update.
Check.
We can run our after takeoff climb checklist below the line.
Below the line.
Barrow ref.
Standard set.
Standard set. After takeoff checklist complete.
Oh, that's good news. That's good news. I was interested to hear in the latest interview that Asobo was saying that their airport weather is based on METARs, because if that's the case, it should be better. Do you know what I mean? I think we were all under the impression that it was all based on Meteo Blue modelling, and that was the one thing that Rex had over it. The A320 Neo Lolven, I answered that before. So passing 10,000 feet, we'll turn off the anti-ice. Not because we're passing 10,000 feet, but because there are no clouds and I've decided to trust this plane for once. We'll turn off the landing lights. Nose light the first officer has done, I think. No, he hasn't, he's just turned it from takeoff to taxi. Turn off the runway turn-off lights. And because we're safely in the air, we can turn off the dome light as well. Thought I'd turned this on, but I haven't. No, I don't think there is a Barcelona yet, the Illuminex. There were at least 2, I think there were 3 in prepared, so I'm sure one of those will be ported across in due course. But so far, nothing I'm aware of. Oh, interesting, Dave. That's very encouraging. So that would explain why my weather matched a lot better at Luton than it used to.
Wizzair 1602 climb and maintain flight level 210.
Climb and maintain flight level.
Thank you for the sub, Boris.
1602.
What was that? I totally missed it. I was looking at who subscribed. Flight level 210. Okay. Why do I always fly the A320 Neo? Because it's the only airline that flies even vaguely realistically, Lolvain, and I like to simulate real world flights as closely as possible to reality. It's not the only plane I fly. I fly the Cessna 152 on my Bimbles around Britain flights, and I fly the CJ4 as well, because that's quite nicely done. Yeah, it would be nice to see Southend. I've got a feeling someone did it for FSX, but I'm not certain. Can't remember. Oh, I forgot to turn on the old weather radar and the predictive wind shear. Mbeck Mom, thank you for the follow. I'm sure you had already followed me. But anyway, nice to have you double follow me. Oh, right. Ah, good. My Twitch following is woefully lacking. I think I've only got about 14 followers on there. Which is, it's fine. I mean, I don't really mind which platform people use, but it does confuse me that I'm on something like 780 YouTube subscribers and only 14 on Twitch. Must just be a different audience, I guess. Right, so really we can expect much better weather from now on, Dave, without having to use Rex. That's good to hear. So now we're in the air, I'll tell you a little bit about our routing for today. In fact, I'll move to the rear of the plane because for some reason it's a lot quieter there. Or it used to be. Oh no, it's not anymore. Never mind. So yeah, so we are coasting out over Felixstowe, which you can see down below us. This is Felixstowe Harbour, Felixstowe Port I should say, which I believe is the busiest container port in the UK. And we're going to be flying northeast over the Netherlands, then crossing into northern Germany near Bremerhaven, just north of Hamburg, and then we'll be making a sort of gentle arc over the North Sea and coming into Gdansk from the northwest for our arrival. Which one's that day? Felixstowe or Ipswich? I know nothing about football, I'm afraid. I'm trying to work out what this airport is here. I don't know. Does Ipswich have an airport? Maybe it does. Okay, fair enough. I think that's Crowfield, EGSO, that airport, I think.
Wizzair 1602 climb and maintain flight level 290.
Climb and maintain flight level 290 Wizzair 1602.
290, right you are. Just joined the stream. Where are you now? We are just over Felixstowe, Bobby. Just over Felixstowe. And welcome to the stream. So the town down here is called Orford, which is just to the south of Aldborough, which I think is this town here, if I'm not mistaken. I was there not that long ago, actually. Went there for a day trip with some friends. It was very nice. Oh, right, fair enough. Yeah, it just looked like quite a major airport, and yeah, Crowfield, that's what it was. I know nothing about Crowfield Airport, but it's certainly not a big commercial site, is it? Yeah, it can't have been Crowfield, because that's got grass runways. Wattisham? Could it be Wattisham? That looks a bit bigger. It's an army airfield, which means it probably would have a concrete runway. Yeah, I'm going to say that runway we saw down there was Wattisham. We're going to land in about an hour and a quarter. It's not really that long for a commercial flight. But you know, feel free to set an alarm, come back in an hour, we should be on our approach by then. Sea looks a bit rough down there, doesn't it? With all the wind. I do like these new Airbus sounds that they've added, but they aren't half noisy. If you want to look at, have an exterior view and talk at the same time. Yeah, I could do that. I could do that when I stream, at least, couldn't I? It's a good idea. I think we can turn the seatbelts off. I thought I'd done that passing 10,000. Honestly, I don't fly for 5 days and I just forget everything. I'm alright when I'm not streaming, but as soon as I'm trying to talk to people at the same time, it all goes horribly, horribly wrong. Look what the weather's doing in Gdansk. It's pretty similar to here, actually, from the looks of things.
Wizzair 1602, contact Amsterdam Center on 119.17. Enjoy your morning.
Center on 119.17, Wizzair 1602.
Broken clouds at 400 feet. Okay. Should be alright. I'd feel more confident if Arnav approaches gave you vertical guidance.
Center Wizzair 1602 climbing to flight level 290.
Wizzair 1602, good morning. Radar contact.
Yeah, it's pretty realistic, isn't it, Olvin? Yeah, I think I probably will get the Concorde. I haven't flown the Concorde in a sim since an add-on I had for... It was either FS2000 or FS2002, and it was incredibly buggy. And back in those days, flight planning wasn't so much of a possibility, and they had two adventures, one for Speedbird 1 and one for Speedbird 2. And the air traffic control that was included with it was fantastic, but the adventures were so buggy it was very, very rare to get all the way from Heathrow to New York without the game crashing. And getting back was just impossible, as I recall. But I loved it anyway, it was very exciting. Oh, have they, Pablo? Interesting. That's one I will probably get my hands on.
Wizzair 1602, climb and maintain flight level 350.
I've already answered that, Lolvain.
Maintain flight level 350, Wizzair 1602.
Where have you seen this about Köln Bonn, Pablo? Is it in the marketplace? Tell you what, Aerosoft's website is not it's not that easy to find what you're looking for. Okay. I mostly fly the A320 because it's the only one of the airliners that flies at all realistically. The 787 doesn't work very well, and nor does the 747. It's not the only plane I fly though. I fly the Cessna 152 in my Bimbles Around Britain streams, and I fly the Citation CJ4 quite a lot. I've heard, however, that the 787 has got better with the latest update, so at some point I'll have a little go with it and see how well I can fly it. And if it's working properly, then I might consider doing a long haul to celebrate 1,000 subscribers, assuming I get there. Although I've seen that Quality Wings are going to bring their 787 family over to the sim. That'll be really good, because I enjoyed them a lot in Prepared. You're right, yeah, you're right, Dave. The TBM is good. And the Caravan's not bad either. On some of the bush flights I do, I fly the Caravan, and it's a good little plane. I should really learn the TBM though, because I know a lot of people on the forums rave about it. I think I've only done a couple of landing challenges and a few little flights in the early days.
Ladies and gentlemen, in just a few moments we'll begin our meal service for the flight. Please refer to the menu given to you on boarding for the 2 meal choices and for the beverage choices available. We request that you keep the aisles clear to assist the flight attendants to serve you efficiently and also for your own safety. Thank you.
Alright, I'm sold. I'll have a little go with it. So my plan with Bimbles Around Britain, which is my VFR tour of the UK, is that once we get up to Scotland and we want to head back south, I'll trade up to something a bit faster than the Cessna 152. And the TBM could be just the tool for the job, I think. Because I'm conscious I'm seeing most of the most beautiful spots in the UK on the way north, and on the way south there might be fewer places to go and admire. Yeah, that's true. I will definitely buy the CRJ, because it'll be nice to have a regional jet. But it's not widely used in Europe, if I remember rightly. And because I like doing real-world flights, I don't know how much use I'll get out of it. I suppose if I really love it, then I'll just fly wherever it flies. Yeah, I'm a bit worried about that. It did fine in Snowdonia. We went over Mount Snowdon, but that's only about 4,000 feet. I don't think it'll be getting over Ben Nevis particularly easily. But I'll see. If I have to trade up before then so be it. I'm planning on doing the next leg of that trip on Saturday, if I get the flight plan sorted out. And it's going to be a bit different to the previous ones, because we're going to go from Carnarvon to Liverpool to Manchester and then to Leeds. And I've got some free photogrammetry scenery from flightsim.to. Was it? No, it wasn't actually. It was from Reddit of Liverpool, which is really good. So I thought we could go and have a look at some of the sites that Liverpool has to offer, and then head on to Manchester and on to Leeds after that. Yes, I have watched some videos of Swiss 001 Lolvain. Yeah, I have. Yeah, me too, Dave. Me too. The E-jets are a lot more useful, certainly for European flying. Yeah, and I thought, going back to Bimbles Around Britain, I would do another group flight. I enjoyed it last time, so if anyone wants to join, you're very welcome. Not going to make quite such a big thing of it as I did last time, because that was a celebration flight for reaching 500 subs, but yeah, I'll post some stuff about it in my Discord as and when I decide what we're definitely doing. There's a link to my Discord in the video description if anyone is not on there yet. Yeah, they're being very quiet about timeframes for getting it over to the Xbox, aren't they? Yeah, I never bought the Majestic Q400 for Prepared. I don't know why. I think it was just a bit too pricey and I wasn't sure I'd use it enough. But I had an older version in FS 2004 and I loved it. That was when it was a regular at London City, so I did quite a few flights out of there to various places around Europe. Nice aircraft to fly, and I'm sure it will come over in the end. So just reaching our cruising flight level, 350 now. And we've just hit land in the Netherlands. Oh, welcome back, Ollie, that was quick. Oh, you're talking about Pushback Express, are you, from FS2 crew? I assume. I think it's... I don't know. I don't like talking ill of products, particularly from FS2 crew, because Brian's a decent bloke and he's done some fantastic work. I personally, if I'm honest, think it's slightly overpriced for what it does at the moment. But I'm also confident that he will work on it, and as soon as it's possible to get pushed back properly, as in without having to guess the distance or drive the tug yourself, then he'll implement it. So if you got the money and you want to support him, buy it. If you want really good value for money for the product as it's in the state it is at the moment, then I can't honestly recommend it. Bye, Lolvain. Ollie, yes. Well, I had a lot of stuttering, and I think it was Flightzilla or someone else said that they had loads of stuttering at Luton as well. So I think that's probably all related. I can't imagine what's changed in the patch to cause those issues, but it sounds like it's taking up a lot more memory or something than it should be. So hopefully they'll fix it. I'm sure they will. The other thing about Pushback Express is that they've added voice control to it. Now, that doesn't really change the functionality of the product, but it does make it a bit more appealing, I think. Yeah, that is weird. So does it crash the sim, or do you just get black but the sim continues to run okay? Yeah, I'm flying with live weather at the moment. Yes, my name is Filbert. Does Pushback Helper allow you to control the aircraft doors and the jetways, Dave? Because that is something I like about Pushback Express. Well, fair enough, Pablo. Fair enough. So you get a black screen, but you can still go, if you press escape or whatever, you can go back to the main menu. Yeah, that's weird. I don't know. I don't know why that would happen, but I'm sure it is all related to the stuttering that I experienced, and it's obviously just not working properly. But as you say, you posted on the forums, I'm sure Gary will be working on a fix. Yeah, I don't know. That is a real mystery. You'd have thought either it would work when you start there and when you land there, or it wouldn't work at all. Yeah, that will come, Pablo. That will come. I don't know if you ever used GSX in previous sims, but that was a real game changer, because you just had to say whether you wanted to face left or right, and it would push you back straight onto the taxiway, so you're exactly in the middle, and you didn't have to do anything else. Yeah, it sounds good, Dave. It sounds good. I mean, personally, I'll keep using Pushback Express because I have it, but yeah, if someone's looking for a Pushback add-on, then, and there's a free one that does all that, then can't go wrong, really, can you? Well, in the real world, it's quite common for ATC to tell you which direction to face in, so either north or south. It's not the norm for you to tell the pushback crew which runway you're taking off from, I don't think. So basically what would happen is you'd call ground, say you're ready for pushback and engine start, and they would clear you for pushback facing right or left. Yeah, obviously, yeah, they know which runway is in use and which way they want you to taxi to it. And then you'd communicate that facing north or south, etc., to the pushback crew before they start. And GSX sort of simulated that as well. You could do custom pushbacks, so you could chose from a drop-down menu. There was no voice control or anything, but you could customize it so that you could have more complex pushbacks than just straight back facing left or right. And you could also customize it so that rather than the menu giving you the option to face left or right, it gave you the option to face, you know, northwest, southeast, or whatever. Oh, that is good, Dave. That is good. That is an improvement on Pushback Express in that case. I tend to stream. It depends on my shifts, to be honest, because I work shifts. So I would say on average I do 2 a week, something like that. But unfortunately, I can't abide by the golden rule of growing a YouTube channel, which is to be regular and consistent, because there's no single day of the week that I can always do a stream. So I'm streaming today. I'll be streaming on Wednesday, and I will also do my VFR stream, which will be a group flight if you want to join, on Saturday. Probably a little bit later in the day. So we've got a nice strong tailwind at the moment, which is good. Yeah, I do 12-hour shifts, so I love the number of days off I get. Psychologically, it's nice to have more days off than days on. But yeah, there are occasions when I wish I had a more sociable schedule as well.
Wizzair 1602, contact Bremen Center on 125.1. Enjoy your morning.
Center on 125.1 Wizzair 1602.
So as you will have gathered from that frequency change, we're now overhead Germany.
Center Wizzair 1602 at flight level 350.
We'll be passing north of Oldenburg and just overhead Bremerhaven.
Radar contact.
Well, if you want to join, Ollie, join my Discord. There's a link in the description. We do voice comms on there. So we all speak to each other while we all fly and I stream. And I also put together a little PDF guide from the previous live stream, which tells you basically everything you need to know to join. We're all still learning. We're all still learning. That's one of the great things about flight simming, I think. There's always more to learn, more skills to master. And even though I've been flight simming for 20 years, because everything's slightly different in this new sim, it's not like starting from scratch, but it's certainly a fun learning curve. Yes, they did, Dave. I was impressed by that, because they said originally that it was an Asobo issue and there was nothing they could do about it, I think. So yeah, I was relieved that it's all working again. And I've just decided on where I'm going to fly on Wednesday. We're going to take off from Gdansk, where we're flying to today, and we're going to fly to Copenhagen. Again with Wizzair. Not Copenhagen, I mean Gothenburg. We're gonna fly to Gothenburg on Wednesday. That'll be nice. Just a short hop, but it's a real-world A320 flight. Early in the morning, or late in the evening, it seems to vary. So yeah, that'll be nice. Got some lovely scenery for Gothenburg. Yes. Yeah, my downstairs neighbour's from very near Gdansk. She's told me a lot of stories about growing up there and the beaches, and you could cycle along the beach for miles and then get the train back. Sounds lovely. Oh wow, 68 knot headwind. That's quite something. It'll be 2 PM, 1400 Zulu again. I'll schedule it on YouTube after this one probably, and it'll also be announced in my Discord. Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. I tell you what, I'll do it at 1500. It makes no odds to me. I'll do it a bit later. Yeah, then you can join us for the whole thing, Ollie. Yeah, I don't have Paderborn. I don't have many of the Aerosoft airports. That was one of their first releases, wasn't it, I think, for the sim, if I remember rightly. Oh yeah, it was free. Of course it's free. I knew it stuck in my mind for some reason. Has it got any actual flights leaving there at the moment? No worries, Ollie. I've got plans from 7, but it still gives us loads of time, so yeah, 2 PM was just plucked out of the air and I've stuck to it, but there's no real reason for it. Is it free? I'm joking. I'll have a look at Flight Radar 24, see where you can actually fly to there from. Okay, so you can fly to the Canary Islands. I miss having Canary Islands scenery, actually. That was a nice place to fly. What's that? Hurghada, or Hurghada, I'm never sure how you pronounce it. That is being released, isn't it? I saw something about that on FS Elite, so that'll be nice. Bit of a TUI fly trip down there, quite a long flight, but worth doing. And Antalya, but yeah, Corendon used the 737, which is not ideal. I found a site called Worldwide Virtual, which is actually a virtual airline, but they've got some real-world schedules in there. And they have more than what is currently flying, which is quite handy. Because even with a flight radar subscription, it's really tricky to find, historic flights. Even if I just want to know what was flying in the pre-COVID times, so that I can simulate some of those flights, and it's not easy. But yeah, if you go to worldwidevirtual.net and sign up as a pilot, you don't actually have to fly for them. Then it's got more choice of real-world flights. But not some of the current ones, so maybe the whole thing's a bit out of date, I don't know. No worries, Pfizer. I even went as far as emailing Flight Radar 24 to ask this question. Because they know where, if you've got a gold subscription, you get 365 days of history for each aircraft. So you can click on the aircraft and see where it was a year ago. But you can't do the same with the airports, and I couldn't work out why. And they said that they just can't do it, they don't have that data. Which I find a bit hard to believe, because surely it's just a question of aggregating all of the data for all of the aircraft and seeing where they were, what was at an airport on a particular day. But anyway, can't be done. So yeah, Worldwide Virtual is not a bad resource. Let's have a look at our progress. So about 10 minutes away from our top of descent now. About 35 minutes away from landing. So I will hand control to the co-pilot.
You have control.
I have control.
And we'll start setting up for our descent and approach. Let's double check the latest meta. Oh, thanks, Dazza. I'll have a look at that. But are they real-world routes? Because that's my thing. It has to be a real-world route with the correct type of aircraft, or I'm just not that interested. Unless, of course, it's business jet or GA flying. And yeah, that's exactly what I would have thought, Flyzilla, but apparently not. Can't be done. Right, so the weather in Gdansk. Winds 220 at 10 knots. Overcast at 400 feet. So if winds are 220, then it looks like we're not going to have to do the RNAV approach onto runway 11. They've changed direction. Let me just have a look. Yeah, I think we can quite safely expect an ILS approach to runway 29, so that's good.
1602 contact Paramet Center on 119.82, good day.
Center on 119.82 Wizzair 1602.
Does that change our star as well? Oh, fantastic. Thanks, Desert. I will definitely check it out then.
Center Wizzair 1602 at flight level 350.
Right, ILS 29.
1602, good morning. Radar contact.
So I presume we'll want the Ogda 3 Tango, because we're definitely going via Ogda. And we'll go by GD903, I think. Where is that? Let me just double check the star before I commit to this. So Ogda 3 Tango takes us from Ogdav. Yeah, and it just takes us round to GD903, which is, I think, the initial approach fix. It doesn't seem to be the initial approach fix for the ILS. Sometimes these charts confuse me quite a lot. Perhaps there's a second arrival thing. Transition. Nope, there isn't. Anyway, GD903 is definitely in line with the runway, it just doesn't appear on the approach plate at all for some reason. Got GD902, GD941, but no GD903. Oh no, I'm wrong, it is there, it is there. I assumed it would be. Right, that is that, insert that. Good. So RNAV is not implemented properly in this sim, Ollie. RNAV should give you lateral guidance and vertical guidance in much the same way as an ILS, but the difference is it doesn't have to be straight down. It can hold you at certain altitudes, and similarly the actual RNAV route doesn't have to be straight in the same way as an ILS approach needs to be straight. What I do is, yes, you use what looks like the localizer, the lateral guidance, to line you up, and then if you look at the approach plate, so I use Navigraph, but you can find them for free online for most countries, then it'll give you a series of waypoints with a distance from generally the runway, and you can sort of manually set your altitude based on that. Hello, Senior Squadron Leader, nice to see you back. Jay, I'm going to land in about half an hour, something like that. Right, anyway, where was I? Setting up for the approach, so that's that. Go to the performance page, approach page, we'll put in the metadata. So QNH 1008. Temperature is 14. And the wind 220 at 10. Transition altitude will probably be via ATC unless it says.
Wizzair 1602 contact Berlin Center
for now. It's usually 1,000 above the transition level.
Center on 125.8 Wizzair 1602.
And the MDA Cat 1 ILS is 709.
Center Wizzair 1602 at flight level 350.
Wizzair 1602, good morning. Radar contact.
And we'll set our auto brakes to medium. And we will arm the speed brake on the off chance we don't have to use it on the way down, because then I won't forget. And we'll take back control.
I have control.
You have control.
So now we're ready for our descent and approach. Yeah, unfortunately all you can do is fumble about with it really in the current sim, but yeah, Charles will tell you what altitude you should be at by which point. So top of descent should be in 5 minutes and landing should be in 30. Oh, this random flight database looks awesome. I will have a go with it as soon as I finish this stream.
Wizzair 1602 contact Copenhagen Control on 119.42. Enjoy.
Center on 119.42 Wizzair 160.
Yeah, it's true, Dave. It's true. I've experienced that.
Center Wizzair 1602 at flight level 350.
Wizzair 1602, good morning. Radar contact.
Funnily enough, though, I've always thought that this is that the previous versions of the mod were a bit too easy to slow down, based on my memories of the FS Labs Airbuses in Prepared. So I don't know if they've got it right yet, but yeah, I certainly used to have to use quite a lot of speed brakes.
Wizzair 1602, expect the OGDA3 Tango arrival with the Ogdov transition for the ILS approach to runway 29 with the GD903 transition at Lech Wałęsa after Domic cleared direct Ogdov.
Expect the OGDA3 Tango arrival with the Ogdov transition for the ILS approach to runway 29 with the GD903 transition
Good.
after Domic.
So as we expected, I'm just going to put it in again, because I'm not sure if we shouldn't have the transition listed. No, it doesn't have it. I'm sure it'll work it out. Yeah, I'm really pleased they've sorted out the descent rate. It sort of used to dive, didn't it, at about 4,000 feet a minute, and then suddenly stopped descending so it could slow to 240 knots, just way too early. Yeah, I mean, I've said it before, but I'll say it again. What they've achieved as a group of people doing this in their free time is incredible.
Control on 118.0. Enjoy your morning.
Center on 118.0 Wizzair 1602. Center Wizzair 1602 at flight level 350.
Wizzair 1602, good morning.
Right,
Radar
so
contact.
the barometer dial, the barometric pressure, is you've got to set that correctly to give you an accurate altitude. It's set to standard, which is 1013 hectopascals or 29.92 inches of mercury. Once you're above the transition altitude is a level that is agreed locally within a country, and once you're above it, you set it to standard pressure, and that's when we talk about flight levels. So at the moment we're at flight level 350. We're not at 35,000 feet above sea level. No, I'm not.
Turn right heading 095 to return to course.
Heading 095
saw that in a minute.
Wizzair 1602.
What was I saying? Yeah, so I'm not explaining this terribly well. But because pressure changes on the ground and at sea level, you need to set this dial to match the local pressure. So that's basically what you're doing. And when you've got that right, then your altimeter will be correct. When you're above the transition altitude, you set it to standard. It doesn't really matter at these heights what the local pressure is. What's important is that all of the aircraft are flying at the same height in relation to each other. Does that make sense? As a rule of thumb, in Europe, set it to standard above 6,000 feet. In the US, set it to standard above 18,000 feet. And below that, you can just press the B key to set it to the local pressure. Yeah, I know, Mbekmom. I know. But it only really matters if you're using the built-in ATC, I think. Pilot to ATC will give you the right transition altitude. Hello, Mossy. Nice to see you. How's life? Yeah, every country does have its own transition level, but as a broad stroke in Europe, 6,000, 5,000 seems pretty common. Yeah, you can still fly, it's just that if your pressure is set incorrectly, then the altitude that you see here won't represent your true altitude. What was I going to do? I was going to look at Pilot to ATC and try and work out why things were off course.
Ogdov at flight level 120, then descend via the OGDA3 Tango arrival with the Ogdov transition to flight level 050 QNH is 1008 at Lech Wałęsa.
We'll cross Ogdov at flight level 120, then descend via the Ogdov 3 Tango arrival with the Ogdov transition to flight level 050 QNH is 1008 Wizzair 1602.
We'll put the altitude constraint in there, it probably won't work.
Turn right heading 094 to return to course.
Heading 094 Wizzair 1602.
Yeah, so Pilot to ATC just thinks we're a bit left of course. I don't know why, it doesn't normally. But it does know that we are inbound to... Oh, it thinks we're inbound to Rumar, is that correct? Yeah, it should be. Oh, no, what's gone on here? I fear I've messed up the flight plan at some point. Rumar, Givar then Rumar. Rumar then Givar then Domag. Right. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Don't know. It just hasn't got Ungav in my Pilot to ATC for some reason. But that's alright, we'll be alright after we pass it. Oh, congrats, Mossy! What's your new job? Yeah, Japan is 14,000 feet. I don't know what it is in China. It's in meters in China, I think, actually, isn't it? They do their altitudes in meters. Anyway. I'm trying to look at too many things at once. What was our altitude? What was our descent clearance? Ogdev at flight level 120. Fine. Well, let's start down for that now. I'm still used to this plane diving, but it may not do that anymore. I do have a tutorial, Ollie, actually. I have a tutorial on flight planning in SimBrief and importing it into the sim. I'll send you a link. There you are, that's the tutorial. Oh, fantastic! Congratulations. You must be relieved, eh? I mean, I guess it's a mixed blessing because you'll have less time for simming and the like, but yeah, it'd be nice to have money coming in again. Yeah, I think I'm using the latest. I use the master branch, the development branch. I haven't updated it today, and they update it so frequently it's probably not the latest anymore, but it's pretty close to the latest. I disagree, David. It does use the latest Navigraph Air, but yeah, I suppose you might. Yeah, I suppose you might run into issues if there are procedures that are out of date if you don't have a Navigraph subscription. That is true. But I'd try it. I'd try using SimBrief, import the flight plan, and it should still be recognised by the World Map Flight Planner. And if not, you can just tweak it using the World Map Flight Planner. Oh, we should put on our anti-icing, really, shouldn't we? I mean, auto probe and window heat, you shouldn't ever have to turn that on. Auto should be fine, but I don't trust this sim with its icing. That sounds like quite the challenge, Pablo. Oh wow, that is old. I didn't realise it was that out of date. Yeah, it's true. I've had a Navigraph subscription for so long that I just sort of... I'd forgotten it was even relevant to SimBrief, to be honest with you. Mossy, I was saying earlier, I'm planning on doing another group flight on Saturday. It's going to be very different. There's not going to be spectacular valley flying or that sort of thing. But I figured with my bimbles around Britain, I may as well invite other people along because it was quite good fun. So we're going to be flying from Carnarvon over Liverpool and Manchester to Leeds for the next leg. Right, let me have a quick look at the star. Talking of Navigraph, I'm sort of just forgetting that we're about to have to follow some altitude restraints. So Ogdev, we should be above flight level 100, GD96 above 5,000. So yeah, after GD96 we'll go down to 5,000 and we'll stay at 5,000 until we intercept the localizer, I guess. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, we'll come down to 4,000 before intercepting, but very good. Good, glad you can make it. Yeah, I can imagine how you feel, Mossy. I really resented having to do 4 12-hour shifts at work. It was a big interruption to my flying schedule. Let's just turn down that weather radar a little, if I can.
Cabin crew, prepare for arrival.
Yeah, I'm doing my best. What I want to know is what is the secret from getting 10 to 15 new subscribers a day on a good day to getting thousands of new subscribers a day, because I think that's what you need. You need thousands a day, and then you're on your way to being a YouTube millionaire. Talking of which, Ollie, my goodness, that's very, very kind of you. Thanks very much for the donation. I'm really touched, I appreciate that. Well, there we are. Now there's only £999,990 to go. I'm well on my way. I've totally forgotten what I was going to do now. What was I going to do? Oh, seatbelts on. That's what I was going to do. Thanks, it is very kind, very kind. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else to do. Just keep monitoring our descent. We're going to get to 12,000 feet a bit early, but that doesn't matter. We will need to be there by... I've forgotten what I said. Odmag, wasn't it? Ogdav. Ogdav. That's fine. I know, isn't he just? Isn't he just? And yeah, I'm dead pleased they've sorted that weather radar brightness out as well. Oh, I've been late plenty, Dave. I've been late plenty. Do you know, the thing is, when I'm flying the A320, I don't really think about calculating top of descents and descent rates because I'm used to the aircraft in the real world just does it for you essentially. So I just click the and I just reduce the altitude.
Please repeat your request.
I didn't say anything. Yeah, I normally just sort of start the descent when they tell me and hope for the best. All right, Ollie, we'll stop. I'm very baffled by them asking me to repeat what I said. So the co-pilot, he said, the controller said resume navigation, resume own navigation. My co-pilot repeated it back. And then the controller said, this is Malmo control, please repeat your request. Check your frequency and try again. It doesn't make any sense. Oh well. Yeah, exactly. And it'll get there, Dave, it'll get there. I've got confidence in these guys. And if not, well, we'll have our Aerosoft and FS Labs buses back in the end, I'm sure, in this sim. No, I know, Pablo. There aren't many YouTube millionaires, but and the ones that do exist don't tend to pretend to fly planes to make their millions. But never say never. Moss is very confident I'm going to be a YouTube millionaire by Christmas, so I'm just sort of sitting back and waiting for it to happen at this stage. That's true, yeah. See, now it's decided to climb. Why is it decided to climb? This is a very, very strange aircraft. Again, much like on the departure, it should not be descending. Once it's got to 12,000, it shouldn't be climbing again. J. Cooper Transport Guy, thank you for the sub. Much appreciated. And hello, sorry I didn't even see you in the chat here. Nice to have you with us, Jay. Hi. Really? I'll try it. This really, as I understand it, the constraint button should just display the constraints that you already have in your MCDU. Mind you, that does have a hard flight level 128 constraint in it for some reason. Curious. Yeah, so really, this should be... Well, it shouldn't be there at all because it's not part of the SID and the star, and we don't have a constraint. But let's try changing it to 120.
Enjoy.
I was in manage mode.
Wizzair 1602.
Hang on.
Center Wizzair 1602 at flight level 120.
I'm not in managed altitude mode, no, but I was, and for some reason it got to 12,000 feet and then started climbing again. That's why I went into selected mode.
Is 1009 a Wizzair 1602.
What was I going to ask? What was I going to answer even? How does the group chat work? Are you talking about for the group flight, Ollie? That we do via the group flight voice channel in my Discord server. And as Mossy says, yeah, that's how we do it. Yes, the Halloween flight was fantastic, yeah. It's the sort of thing, if you told me about it in advance, I'd say, oh, that's a bit silly, I'm not interested in that. But I did it, and it was a lot of fun. Right, so in the Discord server on Saturday, you will see there's a voice channel called Group Flight, and you just click on that, and as long as you've got your microphone on or your headset plugged in, then we'll all be able to talk to each other. Jay, I don't know much about Xboxes. I know it is coming out on an Xbox, but I don't know if it's just going to be the new one or what. No, that's fine, Ollie. I was very new to this as well a month ago. I only did my first group flight a month ago. It's not explained in there. It is... But what I've done on the text channel that's called, I think, Group Flight Discussion, if you go in there and scroll up more or less to the top, I've put together a little PDF guide for the last group flight, and that will, it's called groupflightinstructions.pdf, and that will tell you everything you need to know. It'll be the same except for the starting airport. Yeah, this is it, Dave, I know. This is why one of the reasons why I don't use the default ATC anymore. Pilot to ATC does generally respect the constraints because it imports Navigraph data, so it knows what altitude you're supposed to be at. But it's got its own little quirks, let's say. Yes, you can, Jay. Yes, you can. And the best way to do it is also via Discord, actually. If you join... What's it called? The Megapack, Liveries Megapack channel, which I will put a link to in this chat in a second, if I can remember how on earth you do that. Is it this one? Member list? No. Invite people, here we are. Yeah, you can just Google search for it, or you can join this Discord server, and that always has the latest link to the latest pack. Can we put in speed constraints yet? Does anyone know for the arrival? Oh, it has got one, 250 knots. We'll see if that works. And then GD924, 220 knots. This is getting better. So what we'll do is we'll see if the aircraft follows these speed constraints in managed mode. And if not, we'll use selected speed and follow them ourselves. Oh, that's alright. For some reason, I've not set this, but in the YouTube chat it won't let other people post links. Don't know why. I have no problem with people posting links as long as they're not spam, and they're not usually spam on my channel, but I don't know how to turn that off, so you wouldn't have been able to anyway. So our ETA to landing is now only 8 minutes. Yeah, that's probably yeah, I don't know what's going on with emojis in the stream chat, to be honest with you. They never come up, none of them. I don't know if they come up on the YouTube chat because I use a separate app to have a look at the at what's going on. Ooh, Mossy, I'd say Indian. I always say Indian. Just think decent Indian food is a lot easier to find than decent Chinese food. Unless you're really hankering after Peking duck, in which case that would make my mind up for me. Yeah, it's a bit of a tight turn. It'll look less scary when I reduce the range, though. I didn't know that, Dave. So you can bypass the world map entirely. Oh, sorry, the CJ4 you're talking about. Yes, I've used the CJ4 0.6. I haven't used it since the update, but I think I have downloaded 0.6.1. I like a lamb Rogan Josh, but one of my local Indian takeaways has this incredible thing, and I think they call it Murg Masala, which I think just means chicken masala, but it's nothing like chicken tikka masala. It's quite spicy, and it's got mincemeat in it, so you got chicken and quite a rich spicy sauce with mincemeat and boiled egg. That's brilliant.
127.27. Have a good morning.
Approach on 127.27 Wizzair 1602. Approach Wizzair 1602 at flight level 120.
Wizzair 1602, good morning. Radar continue descent via the Ogda 3 Tango arrival. For the ILS, approach to runway 29 with the GD903 transition at Lech Wałęsa.
Continue descent via the Ogda 3 Tango arrival. For the ILS, approach to runway 29 with the GD903 transition Wizzair 1602.
So we're now following the altitude constraints on the star chart in Navigraph, and we can descend to 5,000. And by this waypoint here, we want to be no faster than 220 knots. The other thing we can do, because we've been cleared to an altitude rather than a flight level, is set the local pressure. Get the co-pilot to do the same.
1007 set.
1007 set. Passing 10,900 now.
Check.
No, minced meat, as in ground beef, I think Americans call it, or ground lamb.
Wilco Wizzair 160.
Yeah, so it's not following the speed constraint at all. So that was our first little test. So can we change to speed mode? We can. We'll go into selected speed mode and reduce to 250 knots. The Discord Megapack channel is run by the guy who sort of manages the Megapack, and the Megapack is a collection of liveries for various aircraft, including the A320neo. So if you join the Discord server, within there's a link to download the latest version, and that's the best way to keep up to date with it. Right, so passing through 10,000 feet, we'll turn on the landing lights.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be arriving at our destination shortly. If you're making a connecting flight, please see the customer service agent meeting this flight, or the video monitors inside the terminal for the next engagement. For your continued safety, flight attendants will now walk through the cabin security.
So as I think I may have said, we need to be at 5,000 feet by this next waypoint. Monitor our descent. We might have to use a bit of speed brake to get there.
Also, in preparation for landing, please turn off all electronic devices.
Hello, Smooth Flying. Nice to see you. I'm using the master build, the beta version, I guess, the dev version, and it's not the latest. I don't think. I downloaded it a couple of days ago. Yeah, through the clouds. It didn't follow the 250 knot speed constraint at all. It still had the speed bug somewhere up here. But again, it varies, doesn't it? It's not constant. Sometimes something will work, and the next time it won't quite work. Yeah, I guess so. Smooth Flying. I've not heard them refer to it as a beta version, but there are two options for the A320NX mod. You can either download the latest stable build or the latest master build, which is also known as the latest development build, which is I've never had a problem with, to be honest. No, Ollie, you can't use your reverse thrusters until you've touched down. Right, let's bring the speed back to 220 knots while also descending and see if we make it. Yes, but this was so the speed constraint I wanted it to follow was 250 knots for Ogdav. That's the maximum speed at Ogdav, which was our last major waypoint. But we were at 12,000 feet and it ignored it. It does do the 250 knot below 10,000, I know that much. Okay, let's use a little bit more speed brake. I've got a feeling you're only supposed to use a maximum of 50% while in the air, but yeah, this is going back many years when I was trying to learn how to fly the A320 properly. I might have made it up. Okay, we can run the approach checklist.
Approach checklist.
Briefing.
Confirmed.
ECAM status.
Checked.
Baro ref.
1007 set.
1007 set. Minimum. Engine mode selector.
Normal.
Approach checklist complete.
What would be really good is if we had shared cockpit in the A320, because then you could really show how it's all done. Anyway, it's very nice of you, Mossy. Good, so we have made our 5,000 foot constraint, and we want to stay at 5,000 feet until at least GD903, so this one round the corner here. Yeah, do, Ollie. It's going to be 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock Zulu, 1400 Zulu. We'll be flying the Cessna 152 though, and it's more of a sort of fun sightseeing flight. But yeah, if you've got any questions as we go along, I'll do my best to help. I really need to get on planning that flight. I haven't got very far yet, but I will. Right, turn on our LS and we will check our frequency, because it doesn't automatically get tuned here all the time. Should be 110.3. I have done, Ollie, if you look on my YouTube channel, I have done a tutorial video for the A320 which takes you from cold and dark at the gate all the way through to being ready for pushback. So it goes through setting everything up in the cockpit. You might find that useful. And one day I intend to carry on that tutorial series, but it drove me slightly mad. So I'm taking a bit of a break from it. But that would probably be a good place to start. Ah, there we are. Thank you, Mbekmon. No, none of those exist in the sim yet, Jay. There will be a 737-800, which PMDG are producing. They've done it for earlier sims and they're porting it across, and it'll be fantastic, but it'll be expensive and it probably won't be ready until towards the end of next year. There is a Concorde in the works. I believe there's a beta version of a freeware 747-400, which is basically just made using the default 747-8 down to 210 knots. And in fact, if we go to our performance page, are we in approach mode? Yes, we are in approach mode. That's automatically been activated. So we should now be able to return to manage speed mode, which will bring us down to our V approach.
Flaps 1.
Speed checked.
Our first stage of flaps.
Flaps 1.
And that will take us down below the 210 knot speed restriction. And essentially, as we make this turn here, we should be able to intercept the localizer. Now, in the real world, you'll be able to arm your approach mode now. We'll wait until the diamond starts moving across.
QNH is 1009 are cleared for the ILS approach to runway 29 with the GD903 transition Wizzair 1602.
Yes, I do smooth flying, but there are plenty who would disagree with me. I've switched over completely from prepared version 4. And there are things that frustrate me about it, but overall it just feels much more like flying in the real world in spite of the buggy aircraft. And I'm sure you'll find the same moving over from X-Plane as well. So we're cleared for the approach, just waiting for the localizer to come alive, and we will toggle approach mode on. Ah, okay, Ollie, I can point you in the direction of some resources. Once we've landed, I'll... you said you're on the Discord, right? I'll post them in there, which sort of explain those far better than I'm able to. Oh, okay. Well, I tell you what, at some point we can go on the Discord and you can share your screen, and I'll try and work out if what, if anything, you're doing wrong. Right, flaps 2 and gear down, I think.
Flaps 2.
Speed checked. Flaps
Gear
2.
down.
So, rule of thumb, you should extend your first stage
Gear
of
down.
flaps before intercepting the localizer, and you should extend your second stage of flaps and lower your gear before intercepting the glide slope. Yeah, I agree, Dave. In fact, I'd say these are the best default aircraft we've had in any sim to date. Even without the mod, the A320 is far more advanced than anything that, yeah, anything I've seen before. I'm slightly worried about the visibility now, to be honest. Let me just have a quick look at the Category 2 minima.
Wizzair 1602 descend via the GD903 transition to 5,000 feet.
No,
Descend
you've just
to
cleared me for the
5,000
ILS.
feet via the GD903 transition.
You've just cleared me to the ILS, so I'm going to ignore you.
Wizzair 1602 QNH is 10090 at Lech Wałęsa, contact tower on 118.1. Good day.
Do I think there'll be more commercial aircraft soon? Yes. I don't know about soon. They will come, but I think it's a slow process because the SDK isn't complete. No one really knows what they're doing yet.
Approach runway 29.
Wizzair 1602, good morning. Radar contact.
This is quite
Continue
spectacular
ILS
weather,
to
isn't
runway
it?
29, call when established on final.
Continue ILS to runway 29, will call when established on final. Wizzair 1602.
We are. Tell her we are established on final. Or I'll tell her. Wizzair 1602 established on final.
Wizzair 1602, wind bar 205 at 9 knots, cleared to land runway 29.
Cleared to land runway 29, Wizzair 1602.
My live weather has always worked one day and then not the next. So yeah, I hope they have sorted it out, but yeah, it may still be a little bit intermittent. I think they will smooth fly. I think that the airliners that are going to be released by third parties definitely will. I'm not sure whether this mod or any of the other freeware mods will get quite as advanced as something like the FS Labs Airbus or the PMDG aircraft, but we'll certainly have similar aircraft in this sim. Yeah, you can fly to any airport in the world, Jay. well, almost any airport in the world. There are some that are missing. There are some old airports that have closed and new ones that have opened that aren't quite here yet, but pretty much any airport.
Flaps 3.
Speed checked. Flaps 3.
Let's ding the cabin crew.
Cabin crew seats for landing, please. 2,500. Checked.
So we're only expecting 10 knots of wind from 220 at ground level. Be interesting to see how accurate this is.
Flaps full.
Speed checked.
Flaps full.
Cabin crew, be seated for landing.
I don't know, Jay. I got a feeling it is. I'm pretty sure I read about a group flight going there. Yeah, I used to love flying to Lanzarote. I just wish it had some add-on scenery for the airport. Right, landing checklist, I think.
Landing checklist.
Cabin crew.
Advised.
Auto thrust.
Speed.
Auto brake.
Low.
ECAM memo.
Landing no blue.
Landing checklist complete.
Good, we've got the runway in sight now. We've got the lead-in lights at least, so we're good to go. So this is our radar altitude, so this is our altitude above the airport. And this is our altitude above sea level with our QNH set to 1009, which is the local pressure.
Checked.
I'd like a little more visibility, but anyway, we're going to go for it. We're above Cat 1 minima. This wind is not quite as it should be.
Continue.
And the glide slope does not match with the Pappies at all.
100, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20. Retard 5.
Wizzair 1602 exit runway 18.
Spoilers.
I'm
Reverse,
being blown
green,
all over the place.
decel.
I've got full right rudder in here. I don't know what that's all about. Good grief. Has the handling changed a lot since the last patch, or have I just forgotten how to steer an aircraft?
70 knots.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the conclusion of our flight. Please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the captain has turned off the seatbelt sign and the aircraft is parked safely. This will be your indication that it is safe to move around the cabin, gather your belongings and disembark.
Oh, okay. The mod bug, fair enough. I can cope with that.
We appreciate your business and
right.
we'll see you once again on a future flight.
Landing lights off. Strobe off. Start the APU. And the nose light is set to taxi. Now for some reason Pilot 2ATC has just stopped telling me to contact ground or give me any taxi instructions, but anyway. Okay, latest dev version. I shall do that, thank you. So this is not quite scattered clouds at 400 feet, but never mind. Let's run the after landing checklist.
After landing checklist.
Flaps.
Retracted.
Spoilers.
Disarmed.
APU.
Start.
Radar.
Good point, good point. Radar off, predictive wind shear off. TCAS to standby. And I did make a note of which stand we wanted to park at. Yeah, it was. We had about a 22 knot wind from 220 when we touched down, I think.
Off.
Predictive wind shear system.
Off.
After landing checklist complete.
And we are looking for stand 24. Which should be the first one on the terminal building with a jetway, from the looks of the chart. Maybe the second. So this is a freeware rendition of Gdansk Lech Wałęsa. That's 25. Well, that doesn't match with the chart at all. Oh yeah, maybe it does. Yeah, it does.
Taxi light off.
This is us. Yes, it's a freeware add-on airport from flightsim.to, and there's a link in the video description. We'll get parked up and we'll have a little look around it in the drone. Not the best parking, I fear. But you know, if they won't provide marshallers, what am I to do? Right. Parking brake set. APU bleed on. Engine anti-ice off. Engines off. Seatbelts off. Beacon off. And we'll run the parking checklist.
Parking checklist.
APU bleed.
Yeah, the jetways work. The jetways work. Oh, but the crane, yeah. Well, I know, I agree. Yeah, it is freeware. It's a downside better than the default. Yes, usually ATC would tell you the reason I know, or the reason I had a gate in mind was because I look at Flight Radar 24 for the flights, and you can have a look on there at a map of where the aircraft went, and if you zoom right in and turn on satellite view, then you can see the stand that the real aircraft ended up at, and in our case I think it was either today's flight or yesterday's flight, it ended up at stand 24, so that's how I knew that. That's probably getting a little bit too obsessive for many people, but I don't care. So anyway, welcome to Gdansk Lech Wałęsa Airport. Let's have a look how we did timing wise. 10:42 Zulu, and the real flight was due in at 11:40 local, which I think is 10:40 Zulu. Yeah, so we are 2 minutes late, which is not bad at all. Oh, to you. Good. I'm glad it's not just me and Beckman. Anyway, now we're here. Let's have a little look around. As you can see, we've got transparent glass. Got a few little visual artifacts with flickering window frames, but to be honest, I've seen that in airports I've paid quite a lot of money for, so you'll hear no complaints from me there. Not much modelling on the interior of the terminal, but you've got these roof supports, which I think is, again, more than enough for something that someone's done in their free time. The FMC, it should tell you on the progress page, but it doesn't work yet in this sim. The reason I knew how much further we had to go is because I was looking at pilot to ATC, which gives you a distance to go. And if anyone's looking at an ATC add-on, they do offer a 10-day free trial, and I've done a little quick start tutorial for it, so It's worth a go. It's not perfect. There's a lot about it that irritates me, but it's certainly better than the default ATC. So this is the old terminal building, and the one we parked at is the new terminal building. But yeah, they've put a few air stairs down. They've got accurate ground markings, accurate taxiways. And so yeah, for freeware, I think this is absolutely brilliant. We've even got cars in the car park and fencing and that sort of thing. No, I haven't actually, Mbek Mom. I haven't. I'll have a look next time. Yeah, that's a good point, the ribbons. I follow the maps on the charts on Navigraph, but yeah, if you haven't got a Navigraph subscription and you want to make life easier, then yeah, it's a good little feature. Yeah, so what do we think? This is probably one of the best freeware airports I've found for this sim. And the bloke who's done it, I can't remember his name, but it is written in the comments. He's doing airports all over Poland. So if flying in Poland is your thing, you're in luck. Anyway, I think that's probably enough for today. The next stream, as I said, will be on Wednesday at 1500 Zulu, where we will be flying from here to Gothenburg. We'll have a look at the Orbeck scenery for Gothenburg while we're at it. And the group flight on Saturday, I'll keep working on. There'll be details on my Discord of exactly how to get involved, so do come along and join that if you haven't already. Thanks ever so much for joining me. You're frightened to add any more sceneries. I haven't found that the number of sceneries makes much difference. I've added, yeah, I've got quite a few from Orbex. I think I probably have 9 or 10, and it doesn't seem to make much difference to my performance, really. Yeah, thanks very much for joining me, and see you on Wednesday, hopefully, if not on Saturday. If not, then at some point in the future here on Phil That Flies. Take care and enjoy the rest of your days. Bye-bye.